Welcome to Season 2 of Red Sox Digest, the only show where pain, sarcasm, and false hope collide nightly, like a Masataka Yoshida ground out to second. We break down every loss, every meltdown, and the occasional win, with sarcasm, facts, and no front office spin. Subscribe today at RedSoxDigest.com, or keep wondering how a wildcard team spent an entire offseason avoiding power hitters. And now, here's the crew at Red Sox Digest.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Red Sox Digest. I am your host tonight, Jim Delfino. And tonight, I don't even know if I'm hosting a baseball show or reading off a termination list from corporate HR. Because what just happened, again, courtesy of Jeff Passan, and now confirmed everywhere, isn't a shakeup. It's a full-blown organizational wipeout at the major league level. Let's get into it. The Red Sox have fired Alex Cora, the manager, Pete Fatse, the hitting coach, Ramon Vasquez, your bench coach, Dylan Lawson, assistant hitting coach, Kyle Hudson, third base coach, Joe Cronin, hitting strategy coach. And just to really tie a bow on the chaos, Jason Varitek has been reassigned, not fired, just moved somewhere. Like when your company says, we found a new opportunity for you, and it's a desk in the hallway. This isn't a message. This is a mass extinction event. You don't fire the manager and basically the entire offensive brain trust and key dugout voices unless something is completely broken behind the scenes. We're not slumping. We need a spark. It's broken. And listen, this team has been bad. Yes, the offense looks like they're guessing on every pitch like it's a carnival game. Situational hitting has been non-existent. Fundamentals have been optional at best. So yeah, accountability, fine. But this is like your car making a weird noise, so you light it on fire and say, we'll start fresh. Let's start with Alex Cora. You can question decisions. You can question bullpen usage. You can question lineups. But firing your manager in April, this tells you the organization has completely lost patience or completely lost its mind. There is no in-between. Then the hitting side, Pete Fatse, Dylan Lawson, Joe Cronin, all gone. So basically the entire philosophy of hitting just got thrown into a trash can behind Fenway. Which, honestly, watching this offense, it's not shocking. But again, all at once, that's not fixing a leak. That's ripping out the entire plumbing system and hoping water just figures itself out. And then you lose Ramon Vasquez and Kyle Hudson. So now your in-game decision-making support and base running guidance is where? Also gone. So who exactly is running the dugout tomorrow? Is it open mic night? Are fans getting a shot between innings? And then there's Jason Varitek, reassigned. That's the most corporate word in sports. That's not baseball talk. That's LinkedIn talk. We didn't fire him, but he's definitely not doing what he was doing. And now we've got Chad Tracy stepping in as interim manager. Nothing against the guy, but this is like handing someone the key to a car that's already spinning off the road and saying, good luck, straighten this out. Here's the bottom line. When you fire this many people at once, you're not solving problems. You're admitting to have no idea which problem actually matters most. And I guarantee you tomorrow, we're going to hear new voice, fresh start, resetting the culture. Culture? You just fired the culture. And here's the part fans need to understand. This doesn't just shake the coaches. This shakes the players. Because now every guy in the clubhouse is looking around going, if they just wiped out the entire staff, who's next? That's not motivation. That's instability. So here's the question for everybody tonight. Is this real accountability? Or is this an organizational completely panicking and trying to make it look like they're in control? Because right now, this doesn't feel like leadership. It feels like smashing every button on the dashboard and hoping something fixes itself. We're going to go a little bit off topic today and just go right into it. So I'll start with Nick. Nick, go ahead and your reactions to tonight's amazing turn of events.
We raise our high noons this evening. to me because I had this right from the week, and we should be here to celebrate how great we are by taking our talents to the afternoon drive show of WEEI in Boston. That's where we should be. I was waiting all night to say that because they just got rid of a big shakeup that was over there. We should be the voice of reason. We should be the ones on the air doing this job. But here we are. We have a wonderful following, a lot of people that do appreciate what we have to say. When we were going to be on to talk about this, I don't know if you got any messages, guys, but I was getting messages. When are you going to go on? When are you going to talk? We want to hear what you have to say. And we appreciate that a lot because this, again, is a hobby. It's something that we enjoy doing together. And we like to call it as is. Call it as it is. We really do. We like to shoot from the hip. We like to tell you how we feel and how we're doing with certain opinions. Sometimes we're right. Sometimes we're wrong. This past week, I did make the statement about the Yankees. I said I thought that they were going to get their teeth knocked in by the Yankees. Lo and behold, they got embarrassed. They got swept. Thursday night came, and I'm going to be honest with you. I kept looking. If you noticed me on my phone a little bit, I kept looking off into the distance because I felt something was going on. All of those fans to John Henry and Tom Werner and Craig Breslow and Sam Kennedy that we kept seeing on Nessa in the games, it kept telling me that he's around. Something's going on. The same way that when fans went to the Winter Classic that was at Fenway before Devers signed his big contract, fans let John Henry have it because Bogarts was gone. Betts was gone. Nothing was going on. And then it was about, I want to say 5 or 6 days after that game at Fenway, when fans just tortured with him with booze, John Henry. You suck. Do something. John Henry is a very reactionary owner. He hates when people don't like him. He hates when people hurt his brand. And his brand has been shellacked to start the season so far. This move today was not about Alex Cora. I want to state that first and foremost. This move tonight was about John Henry and ownership control. Alex Cora stuck the finger up at ownership and at Breslow and said, screw you with what you gave me. I'm done. I am not firing my guys. Make something happen. And guess what? Ownership sweeps into Baltimore and says, sayonara to the coaching staff. On Thursday night, I did make the statement that I said Alex Cora had worn out his welcome. And the reason that I said that is because Alex Cora, yes, in part, is the scapegoat to all of this, in my personal opinion. Did Alex Cora do a good job managing? Yes and no throughout his tenure here with the Red Sox. I'm not going to pass on 2018. He was handed a team that was a super team, but he still needed to manage it. The rest of the years, not good enough. In my eyes, not good enough. But what happened to the start for this season, I think, had to do with the finger in the face. I really think that Cora was trying to stick it to the owners and Breslow in particular and say, this is what you handed me. This is what was given. This is what it is. This is what this roster is. Cora, as the leader, he wore his welcome out. He had to go. And then you look at the other coaching staff decisions. I'm sure John, I'm sure Thayer, I'm sure you, Jim, will talk about it as well with this. The hitting stuff had to be changed. Pete Fatse and Dylan Lawson, their drive line approaches do not work. My question that I have with this is, now that those two guys are gone, did we fire Pete Fatse and did we fire Dylan Lawson, or did we fire drive line? That's what I want to know. I don't think we fired Driveline. I think we just fired two faces that were an integral part of that system. Jason Veritek, on the other hand, they didn't want to have to fire him. So this is their nice way of saying, you sucked at your job. We're going to give you to Tom Caron now to go into the Nesson studio with Matt Barnes and Jim Rice. That's what they're going to do. And I'm joking kind of with that. I don't think that's really what's going to happen. I don't know what that role is going to be. But there were some people even saying, oh, why didn't you just hand the team to Veritek? After what you've seen with his job? You people kidding me? And then you see Ramon Vasquez. Obviously, that was Alex Cora's right-hand guy. That was his bench coach. A natural termination right there. I'm happy for Chad Tracy. I think Chad Tracy deserves this opportunity. John, I know you're probably going to go into it a little bit more because I think you have a little bit more knowledge on that department from some other people. But I think Chad Tracy is the right decision, at least for right now. What that looks like at the end of the season, I don't know. I have my eyes set on some other things. But I think for right now, what else could you do? The one that skates by outside of Breslow, which I think should have also been gone too. I think he was the culprit of all of this. Andrew Bailey. I don't feel Andrew Bailey should still be here either. Why is he still here? Because pitching this season has been just as atrocious as the hitting. If you're going to clean sweep, get them all out. Put some new faces in. But we're left with Andrew Bailey. All in all, that's just my thoughts on my takes for right now. There's still a lot to dissect and a lot to go over on what's next and everything. But for right now, still state of shock. I still think that this was planned after the Yankees game. I really do. And I think there was just some sort of a scheduling decision that they had to make to get all of this to happen. I think that the decision was most likely made Thursday night. They let it ride out yesterday. And then with the early start for today, I think they just kind of let the game go and then did what they had to do tonight. I don't want to take up any more of mine. I know the other guys want something else to say. Let's hear what they have to say too.
Yeah, it's some really good comments, Nick. I mean, just my personal opinion. I've never been an Alex Cora guy after 2018. It's clearly known on this show and in my, Twitter tweets that I've never been a fan of his, especially after his comments in 2018 that, if you like what we did in 2018, wait till you see us in 2019. There's a difference between being cocky and being, professional and whatnot. And then with the cheating scandal and everything like that, I still kind of almost surprised they even brought him back, to be honest with you. John, let's go next to you. What's your reactions to all this that went down tonight?
Yeah. I mean, I'll really start here just by saying I don't know if any of us have really fully comprehended what the hell happened today. We all, Nick said it exactly on Thursday. Like, we all thought that there was going to be change coming, but I don't think any of us could have predicted or had even a thought that it would be a whole clean sweep throughout the entire organization. And Nick, to your point with Driveline, I've got bad news for you. The only guy who's affiliated with the Boston Red Sox on the hitting side of things, John Soteropoulos is his name. He's still with the Red Sox, and he works directly with Driveline. So Driveline's still here. They're not going anywhere, unfortunately. I hate Driveline too. And so, guess what? So do a lot of the players in the organization. More so hitters, not too many pitchers. But I digress on that point. But, this is 2 years in a row now that some crazy shit's happened after a good day for the Red Sox. Last year, it was obviously on Father's Day. You sweep the Yankees. Devers, in what happened to be his last at bat as a member of the Red Sox, hits a home run, which was the eventual game-winning home run. We're all happy. Then we're all out to dinner with our dads, and obviously that news breaks. And then today they beat the pulp out of the Orioles. And, I was literally talking to Jim before we started. I was literally walking to my car, I was going to go to the bar and hang out with my buddies, watch whatever games are on tonight. And then we get the passing notification. But, as far as the firing goes, I know Jim never liked Cora that much. I don't think the rest of Nick or there. I don't think you guys either were the biggest fans of him, but I loved Alex Cora, and I still do love Alex Cora. But the way that this business works is you get to a point in time where things just get stale, and that's kind of what happened here. Alex Cora was a phenomenal manager in 2018. They won 108 games. They breezed through the playoffs and winning that World Series. And he's the type of manager that can make a good team great, but he's not the type of manager that can make a average or subpar team good. And we've seen that from 21 to now. Last year, obviously, they had Alex Bregman, who was the leader, the mentor to all the guys. And he was able to talk to them when they were going through slumps and whatnot. And so Alex Cora didn't really have to do any of that off the field stuff to, get guys to turn the page and, flush a slump and get back to how they are, how they're supposed to be as players. And now this year, Cora's been saying it for weeks now in post-game interviews that, his job is now to teach these quote unquote young guys how to play baseball. And, that's just not who he is as a manager. And, as far as all the other guys that got fired goes, that whole group, they're all Alex Cora guys. And, what I think what happened, which I don't want to, say with any certainty, but what I speculate what may have happened is maybe it was just one or two guys that were going to get fired. And then, they all agreed upon, it's either none of us go or all of us go. And if that is what happened, if that's the case, then we saw which route John Henry, Craig Breslow, Sam Kennedy took. But it was we got the World Series in 2018. Love Alex Cora for that. But times are changing, and we have a young team now, and I think that this is the right direction that this organization is going to go in, or has to go in. Somebody that I am good friends with, played with him in high school baseball. He's bouncing between Worcester and Portland right now. And I texted him, asked him if they saw any of this coming. And he said, during their game today for Worcester, 4th inning, Chad Tracy goes down into the clubhouse, and they had no idea what the hell was going on. And so, whether internally this was something that was planned on last Thursday, everybody found out when everybody found out today. So it was a shock to him. It was a shock to everybody throughout the entire organization, from, the FCL all the way up to Boston. And, for better or worse, I think that this is something that had to happen. And, we go on from here. There's no gas breaks, nothing like that. So we move on, we go forward, and hopefully, we look back at this in September, October, and say it was the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I think it's easy to say that this is now Craig Breslow's team. And, when you really look at Alex Cora's tenure here, he went through 3 general managers, or CBOs, whatever you'd like to call them tonight. But the bottom line is he outlived 3 of them. And the bottom line here is that a guy like Chaim Bloom and Craig Breslow were not able to choose their own manager. And most CBOs, general managers, do have that luxury across the major leagues, is to be able to choose their own manager. And then that manager chooses their own coaching staff, or, the general manager has some input. That was never the case here because of the, I think, loved relationship between ownership and Alex Cora. But, when you look at who's going to replace him, and the interim manager is going to be Chad Tracy, I mean, it has to make a lot of sense, right? I mean, here's a guy that knows these young guys. They've played for him. He understands the minor leagues. He understands what's going on there, and is more than likely to be more tolerant of these things than probably Cora is or was. Thayer, I'll turn it over to you. Your reactions to everything that happened tonight.
This is just sort of a culmination of what we've been seeing for the last 4 to 5 years with the Red Sox. They have no plan. They have no direction whatsoever. Alex Cora was not the problem in any way, shape, or form. Chad Tracy, I think, is going to be fine. The issue is when you have terrible players, it doesn't matter who you put into the position, who you put anywhere. So I think when you talk about, we'll go back to Parcells, when you're not picking the ingredients and you're trying to bake the cake, it doesn't really matter. Alex Cora is a manager of professional baseball players. He doesn't have many professional baseball players on his team. So that is just how it goes. Major League Baseball clubs shouldn't be teaching players how to play the game. That's not what the Major League Baseball system is for. The pros, are meant to play, to work, to do the small things that are already there and to tweak the attitudes and the ideas of the professionals. That's what the minor leagues are for. You're bringing up a minor league manager. And this whole thing just shows how foolish they are. John talked about it and Nick talked about it. Last year we sweep the Yankees. We're winning. It so reminds me of Major League. You're winning. I'm going to ruin the team. Goodbye, Devers. You just blew the doors off of the Orioles. Goodbye, Cora. And to do it today shows they have no idea. What are they doing now? They are taking the manager from their AAA team and putting him in the pros. They're taking their manager from their AA team and bringing him up to the pros. So now their minor league affiliates are rudderless without leadership. What kind of organization is this? This organization is foolish. They have no ideas. Was Alex Cora probably sabotaging a little bit? Maybe. Maybe some of the moves he was doing, the playing the positional players where you have the right-handed versus left-handed lineup and things like that, possibly. What we're going to see now, though, is Craig Breslow has nobody to hide behind right now. This is all on him. So what I'm interested in seeing moving forward is what were we looking at? Were all these crazy lineups, were they the result of Alex Cora just doing what he thought and what he wanted? Did he really hate Mayer and didn't want to play him? Or was it something he was being told? Because if Marcelo Mayer plays every day, we're going to know where we stand and what was going on. And I hope for Cora's sake, for Breslow's sake, that this works out, because I have a feeling all of his stupid decisions up to now are just going to totally backfire, and he's going to be the one falling on his face. I feel bad for Alex Cora, but he's going to be managing down, about 5 hours south before the end of the week, would be my guess. And I haven't looked at it yet, but I think the Phillies are losing. So my guess is I wouldn't be shocked if Philadelphia has a press conference today or tomorrow. And what do you know? Here he is. And
I think that phone call is going to be already made.
Yeah. And from the other aspect of this whole thing, the image conscious Red Sox are cowards.
Yeah.
Firing all of these people and then just sort of reassigning Jason Varitek. They're doing that because they don't want the backlash from the fans, because they love this man. Fine. You hired him as your bench coach. Have a spine. If you fire him, you don't feel he's doing his job, you got to get rid of him. The Yankees did it. They said goodbye to Don Mattingly. Away he went. The captain of the team, the lifeblood, they loved him. He's gone. But the Red Sox, no, we can't do that. It really wasn't his fault. We're just going to put him somewhere. Please. This ownership, it's just disgusting, the whole shebang. And I don't know how I feel right now. I don't know if I want them to fall on their face and just become an abomination and relive the 1918 World Series and the 1920s and how the organization fell on its face. We're looking very similar. That history is repeating. And I'm not going to live to see 86 years to 2104.
We're not going to make it there?
I don't think so.
We'll put you in the machine now.
Hey, listen, I still got a full head of hair. I may be able to make it.
Leave my head attached to my body. I don't want it cryogenically.
That's
frozen
why you
like
got
that.
the hat on. Make sure that statement is clear. That's why the hat is up. Here we go.
I got the whole head of hair too. I'm fine.
There you
Okay. All right. So I'd like to find out, see if let's start with Nick on this one. Nick, what are your thoughts on Alex Cora's next job? Will it be the Phillies or will he be down living in a van
Down by the river.
What's your thoughts?
This is great. That's awesome, Jim. This is one of your better ones that you've come through. So who's Chris Farley supposed to be? Is that supposed to be John Henry or is that Kennedy?
I'll go with Kennedy.
Okay. And that's the puppet. That's little John Henry in the corner. Can't make up his mind on what he wants to do.
No,
And
that's
there's Alex
Breslow.
Cora.
That's
Oh,
Breslow.
that's Breslow. Okay.
Yeah.
And Cora just got sent to detention from Mr. Belding. I see. That is too perfect, Jim. You couldn't sum that up better from that.
So, to the question, what do you think happens to Alex Cora? Do you think he's going to be the Phillies' next manager? Do you think he's not going to be in baseball for a while? What's your thoughts?
I mean, there's too much of a relationship with Dave Dombrowski. It's just a matter of what happens. Does Rob Thompson get fired this week? Do they make that move because they see, oh, the Red Sox, they already did their thing. Now we don't look as bad. We can do what the Red Sox did. So I think that's there. Could be the Mets, but I don't know if Alex Cora wants to go to the Mets. I don't know if that lights a candle under him. I think the Phillies are a calling. And when Dave Dombrowski wants something, we know he wants something. Look at this disgrace right here. The 4 boobs.
Who do we got here? We got Breslow. We got Kennedy.
John Henry and Little
like
John Henry.
Is it Little John Henry? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on a leash.
All right. John, your
Let's go
thoughts
get dinner,
on
Dad. Daddy,
John,
I want dinner.
John, your thoughts on Alex Cora's future? Is he going to maybe be the next Philly manager, or will he be living in a van down by the river?
If Alex Cora wants to manage baseball this year, it's going to be with the Mets or it's going to be with the Phillies. And obviously I'd lean the Phillies because we all know he has a great relationship with Dombrowski. They've been, they won a championship together in 2018, obviously. And then as far as the Mets go, I don't think they have any real deep ties to Mendoza. That could be Steve Cohen could get that done overnight, but I feel like I'd honestly prefer AC to go to one of these other teams this year, because if he doesn't and we get to the offseason and say the lockout happens and we miss a year of baseball, am I the craziest person in the world saying that maybe the Yankee season this year doesn't go as planned? They don't win the world, they don't get that ring this year, and maybe lockout happens, philosophies change, and Aaron Boone's out of a job and AC goes over to the Yankees. How would that feel? So I hope that it's the Phillies or the Mets. And as far as the rest of the coaching staff goes, I'd assume at least 1 or 2 of them would tag along with Cora wherever he goes. But for the sake of the 1% chance that he would ever be the Yankees manager, I really hope that just go to the Phillies and he'll have a great time over there.
Yeah, I don't know about the Yankees. I don't know if Cora would have any loyalty and not do that, but I mean, a job's a job. Just this came in too. Sea Dogs manager Chad Epperson will serve as the interim third base coach for the Red Sox, according to Nightingale. Anybody want to have a reaction on that? Open floor.
That's what I told you. This is a team that's taking the leadership of both of their minor league teams and bringing them to the major league level. So they're saying that their kids require kid gloves to work with them. They need to be pampered. They need to be babied. Fine. Do that. We'll see if they're playing every day and see how they do. Now, also what you're doing is you're costing your minor league system. Who's going to lead these people? Talking about the development of their teams. Again, there is no direction. They simply do things as the wind blows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am concerned, I have to say, about the minor league systems. But we knew that they needed a reset anyways, because most of our prospects that were semi-decent, except for Franklin Arias, have been up. So I guess if there was a time to make a change with anything, I guess now is now, because you have to redevelop. You have to restructure things and get a new foundation in play. Just a thought.
Yeah, and I mean, Jim said it earlier too. Like Chad Tracy worked, he's been with all of these guys that the Red Sox have to rely on now. So just the extension of a familiar face coming in and not just some, random person. I think for this season alone, it'll, pay out dividends, and just the production that we see out of, your the Roman Anthony, the Marcelo Meyer, even Brian Bayo, and even what's his name, Sadon. It's a guy that they know. It's a guy that they could trust, a guy that they've trusted before. So exactly, for the time being, I think it's the perfect move to do. And again, like, talking to guys that are in the system, there's not a single person that has a bad word to say about Chad Tracy. They say he's great in the clubhouse, a great coach. So I'm excited to see what he brings. And I said it to Jim before the show starts, and I posted it on Twitter. We'll see if Marcelo Meyer's starting tomorrow at shortstop. We're going to have a pretty good idea of, what Alex Cora's, if him and Breslow were on the same page or not. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, some really good points there. I think, like I said earlier, he's the right guy to succeed Alex Cora right now, because you have a lot of young guys on this team, that have gone through the Chad Tracy years being in the minor leagues. He's also, again, as I mentioned before, probably going to have a little bit more understanding. We know Cora as a player's manager, but we don't know how frustrated he was, in the clubhouse and with the players. I mean, nobody says anything bad about Cora, and that's fine. But at the same time, you just know that this is probably going to go in a different direction. And John, to your point, it's really good. Will there be a shakeup in that lineup? Because look, if he's going to come in here and you're going to see the same lineup that you saw today or the last day, then, what's kind of the point, I guess? So I think the biggest thing, you hit the nail on the head, is Mayer going to play short? Is Story going to be moved? Go ahead,
even,
John.
Besides, even doesn't even have to be shortstop. Is he going to play every day?
Yeah, I mean, start there, right? But, the bottom line is that something different has to happen if you're going to make such major moves like this. So, that'll be interesting to see. So Red Sox manager since 2002, Alex Cora, finishes with a 620 win record against 541 losses. Renicky was 24-36. John Farrell, 432 and 378. Bobby Valentine, 69-93. Terry Francona, 744 and 552. And of course, Grady Little, 188 and 136. I didn't realize Farrell had 432 wins. I didn't think it was that high. But yeah, I mean, interesting that when you look at this list, you've got 3 guys with 4 championships here, just in the last 24 years. So pretty interesting to see. In any event, anybody else got anything else that they want to add tonight? Whether it be on tonight's game or just the general news as it is, or do you want to just stick your fingers in your ears?
No, I think it's important that we show that van. You got to show that van too if you have a picture of that. The coaches for hire van on what the coaches were escorted out of. I texted it over to you, Jim.
Oh,
I
sure.
don't
Yeah,
know
I'll put
if
it.
you have that.
Yeah, that's the van
I
by
think
the
that
river.
is absolutely. It's so Red Soxian. It just so is.
I just find it
And
hilarious
that wasn't.
you have
It
that.
wasn't
you've got
AI. I thought it was somebody AI'd it. I thought somebody
No.
did. It's not. It's absolutely legit. Coaches for Hire is the van that is driving your fired Red Sox coaches away. It's unbelievable.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
Let me just.
I got a little. Well, Jim's getting the picture up. Guy on Twitter put out, Alex Cora is the first manager to get fired after winning a game. How great is that? Can we zoom in on that at all? or no?
That is the van down by the river.
It's heading there.
But yeah,
We should
Alex
be careful.
Cora's the
There's
first
also something
manager-
going on in DC, so let's make sure that they're all safe.
yeah.
We don't want
Gotta
anything
yeah.
bad or anything like that. We wish them well as they depart on their coaches for hire.
Well, we'll see where that bus goes. Is it going straight to
You know, that
Philadelphia or not?
That sounds like
Good.
something that should have been one of my sponsors for tonight's show.
It should have been.
Coaches for Hire. If you need to move a manager or any staff overnight quickly before the next game, call Coaches for Hire. 1-800-RED Sox.
But yeah, no, this tweet I just saw. I find it kind of hilarious or crazy, however way you want to put it. Cora's the first manager to get fired after winning a game by 16 or more runs since the New York Metropolitans fired Bob Ferguson following an 18-2 win over the Cleveland Spiders in the second game of a doubleheader on May 30th, 1887.
Wow.
Long time since someone's been. I mean, let alone I didn't look it up. I should have, but who's the last manager to get fired in April?
I don't know. Here's not to change the subject too much, but I was kind of surprised by this. We talked about it in our chat. Let me see if I can get this up just to kind of have a quick comment on it. Oh, I got to get rid of a couple images here before I can do it. Here we go. There it is. So Kevin Pillar, former Red Sox, actually went to Twitter and said that the Red Sox should have fired Breslow. Fatse was the best hitting coach I had in my career. You didn't hit too well, Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I don't know.
I think he just wanted to throw roses at him.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Pillar was here for what? Less than a season? Was it in a half a season?
Yeah, and he was traded to
He
what?
got
Colorado?
traded, right?
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yep. Time for some comments. Let's go back to a clear screen here and see what we have. Okay. Betty says that disgusts me. Abel Mode says, what is he saying? I'm not sure what he's referring to. And Guglielmo reposted the stream. I saw that. Thank you very much. But it's leadership. Pasha says, Nick, the Red Sox whisperer. Yep, he had it right on Thursday. It was just a 1 day too late, 2 days too late. Henry says we get it. And let's see, we have some moron on here too. Yeah.
Jim, while you're looking, the last time a manager was fired in April, there were 4 of them in 2002. Actually, 4. Phil Garner, Davey Lopes, Buddy Bell, and Tony Muser. Tigers, Brewers, Rockies, Royals.
Wow.
So 24 years ago, an April firing.
I think it happens more in hockey with early terminations. We don't
and
see
it's
it
done
often
with
in
teams that have sort of real high hopes and aren't getting there.
Yep.
Other than the Red Sox brass, who had high hopes, in quotation marks, there were no high hopes for these Red Sox.
Yeah.
This is just a firing to fire.
Michael Lynch says the roster is the roster. That's the Alex Cora thing. The problem is that Alex Cora had no right after signing that contract to complain about the roster because he had an opportunity to go elsewhere, and that's what it should have been. Betty says she hates ownership. They're going to be here, and they have no interest in leaving anytime soon, I don't think. So we're stuck with them.
Yeah. And if I could butt in,
Please.
I give credit to ownership for, doing this because they've been such a reactionary organization over the past couple of years. And, they've finally just done something that is proactive. And, they could have done this once the year's over. They could have just,
You
thrown
don't
it
think
under
this
the
is
rug for
reactionary,
now. And
John?
I think this is totally getting ahead of the curve.
It's absolute reactionary to the
I don't
outrage
think
that the
so.
fans have.
I don't know.
100%.
This is reactionary.
I think that if they
John,
fired,
it's exactly what
I would say it's
happened.
more reactionary if they fired Breslow. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're being proactive here. Like if they fired one or two guys, I'd say that's reactionary. But like just clean slate, we're doing something
Give it up,
different.
John.
I think.
Can we get Jaron Duran in here for a second, please?
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Let's do one of these. Durbin will have the same stats as supposed to be Bregman at the end of the year, not worth 40 million.
Stop.
Well, Alex Bregman's up to 259, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a 717 OPS. So I'd rather have that guy than some of the other guys we have right now on this team. So we'll see how that goes. Michael says sell the ownership. Ownership should sell the ownership. Zach says, anyone need some cheese? Betty says that I have more hair than her. I appreciate that, I think. Breslow made Cora the fall guy. Probably. I mean, this is Breslow's team right now. It's him and Andrew Bailey. That's another thing, too. I know, Nick, you brought that up in our chat. Surprised? Is anybody surprised Andrew Bailey
I said it.
wasn't part of this?
I said it. I don't get it. I don't, because pitching's been just as bad as the hitting. It makes no
but Bailey,
sense. You clean
Bailey
house.
and Cora are best friends.
They
No
are.
way he was
I mean,
firing
Bailey
him.
and Breslow and Bailey are BFFs.
Well, who'd I say?
Oh, we know what you
Cora.
meant. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, Bailey and Breslow.
User
Breslow
says
didn't
Durbin
wanna
is
fire his
Bregman and
pinky.
Pedroia all rolled up into one. I would please do not mention Dustin Pedroia and Caleb Durbin in the same sentence. Dustin Pedroia is one of my favorite players of all time. How shocked are you guys? I don't know how you feel right now because it just doesn't change the players we have on the team. No, it doesn't. But when you're losing and when you have the situation that has happened to this team and the way that they've lost, there has to be a scapegoat all the time. And it's just the way the world works. Let's see. Any more comments? Pilar is podcasting now, isn't he? Probably trying to drive some attention. Probably. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Roman Anthony Truther says, great discussion, boys. Thanks very much. How do you like my AI stuff, Roman Anthony Truther? I know you always give me some hard time on my AI stuff. So honestly, this is a much more detailed discussion than Jerry and the Section 10 boys. Y'all should be way more popular. I mean, we're up to close to 260 watching right now, so we appreciate it. I'm glad to have you on board. Rafi grew up a Red Sox and is a Fenway hitter, and his heart was broken. I live in the Bay. All he does is try to hit home runs, trying to please San Francisco. I mean, if things were done right, you could have had Rafi and Bregman on this team, but it's not what we wound up with. So that's about it for comments. Anybody got any final things that they want to talk about before maybe we wrap up tonight?
I just think it's going to be very interesting to see what we have moving forward. Nick, just a sec. This idea of what are we going to do now? Was the fact that the kids were being platooned and not playing, was that really Alex Cora? Was Alex Cora so powerful that he wasn't playing these guys and it was, upsetting Breslow, and now you're getting Chad Tracy in and you're going to see them playing all the time? Or are we going to continue to see, the substitutions and things like that? Are we going to start to see bunting more often and more running? you know, I don't know. I don't know what this team is going to have. And I also, there's the thoughts that, the kids are going to start to drive the bus and they're going to be, playing with more energy under Tracy. Maybe that's very possible.
I think they
It's
should.
also very possible that Trevor Story and Wilson Contreras, the actual sort of at least emotional leaders, may just say screw it, and we'll see how these kids do.
I think there's some very good merit to that. I think we've all brought that up to in some degree in each thing that we said is that, if you're going to continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, I mean, that's obviously not going to work. And it's the definition of insanity. So, I mean, at this point, why not? I mean, Mayer should play every day. Abreu should play every day. Roman Anthony, should be back. He should play every day. That's what you got to do. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Anybody else before we go tonight?
There's two things from me. One of which 17 out of 26 players on this current Red Sox team have been managed by Chad Tracy. That's a huge number.
Big number.
And that's one of the reasons I feel that they feel confident of him being the interim guy. The other thing that I wanted to mention too, I had a thought on my mind. What the heck was it? Oh, it was this. It was the whole thing that we were just dealing with Roman Anthony for the past week. Did any of you guys hear any of the rumblings that there was a retaliatory thing going around with Roman Anthony, that Cora was purposely holding him out to stick it to ownership? I didn't know if anybody had an opinion on that. Do you think it's valid?
Well, I mean, let's
explain this firing.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say, let's assume that that's true for 1/2 second. That explains the firing, is what Thayer said. Yeah, there's definitely been
that could be here.
There's definitely been more going on than we've been told so far, and I'm sure that some of this stuff is going to trickle out over the course of the next 48 to 72
let's think
hours.
about this. Let's back it up a couple weeks back with Crochet when he was let out there to give up as many runs as he did. Same with Bayo from Friday night. I completely think that was on purpose from Cora. I completely do. He can say he was trying to gut it out and have the pitchers do it, but that was a clear message to ownership right there between those two guys. And I think that set owners off, and they said, well, screw Cora, we're done. I think that was the biggest message that Cora sent to the ownership, Nick, right there.
Nick, little update to the photo. The van is in the background now. And the look on Cora's face is priceless.
You got to blow that up.
If anybody wants to
be your new background, that's gonna. I need a copy of that. I need a T-shirt. Print that up. Red Sox
maybe it'll
Digest.
be on maybe it'll be on Red Sox Digest right under the Martinello Minute. Maybe 2 for 1.
I'd send it to Cora and the rest of the fired staff. Departing contestants who were managers or coaches on this team will receive.
Exactly. A case of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat, and also this on a T-shirt.
Yep.
Sayonara. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be a couple games, 3 or 4 games before we really see how Tracy's going to manage. John, go ahead.
Yeah. The one thing that I don't want to see, which, Kennedy and Breslow are doing a presser tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Interested to see if they kind of do the same thing that they did with Devers last year. Where kind of, they try to make him look like the bad person and everything. I wonder if they do the same thing with Cora.
John, this organization, since Thayer and I have been kids, everybody that goes out the door gets railroaded. Every single one. Every manager and every player that has some sort of ilk. In other words, if it's a 1-year thing, they don't. But when you go with stale, service people like Boggs, Clemens, Maybe even Dwight Evans, Fred Lynn. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, that they always shit on all the guys leaving. Terry Francona, okay, with everything going on with his abuse of narcotics or painkillers and things like that. It's a constant thing with this organization. So to answer your question, will they? It's not going to happen with other people like Fatse and Ramon Vasquez and stuff like that. It's going to be Cora. It's going to be nothing. And let's not make no mistake. I mean, you and I talked about this before we went on tonight. They fired Jason Varitek, but they didn't say it. He's being reassigned because the fans would not want him fired in that way. And so they had to find a way to make it, give him a new title.
I wonder what Catherine has to say about it. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm be interested to see what her tweets, if she does give any information on that. Yeah, so that'd be interesting too. But I don't know.
I didn't want to make sure that people knew that this toilet paper is not for me. This is Alex Cora tomorrow. Just making it clear, abundantly clear.
I don't think you're going to see Jason Varitek in the dugout anymore.
Nope.
He may be, upstairs in some sort of capacity, or he might just be given a fake job title and fizzle out at the end of the season.
Traveling scout, maybe.
And say that he got an offer somewhere else so that there's a face saving in there somewhere.
Well, wasn't he interested in the Mariners job at some point?
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be some opportunities somewhere, either during this season or at the end of this season, with somebody getting fired. I can't imagine the Giants are going to keep the guy that they've got managing that team. So, that should be maybe one opportunity there. Who knows? The Oakland A's will be moving into a new stadium. Maybe they might be interested. I don't know. But remains to be seen. But I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. I would like to thank everybody who has been on with their comments and watching on the live streams. And I'd like to thank the panel here, Nick, John, and Thayer, for being on with me. If you haven't subscribed on our website yet, please go to RedSoxDigest.com and go ahead and put in your email address, and you can get a subscription. It's free. We do also take donations, so please go ahead so we can get Nick some more. We can get some Nick.
I made a mess.
Paper. Yeah, Nick needs some double-plied toilet paper.
Yeah.
This is not double-ply. This is single. I haven't ripped Nick, any of it yet.
Don't buy the cheap toilet paper. That's one thing in life you never do. Never skimp on your bed.
I don't use this stuff.
Listen,
I flush my sorrows away.
I tell everybody, never skimp on your mattress.
I'm pampered. I have to have my wipes.
And never skip on your toilet paper. and don't eat yellow snow. That's the other thing you should always remember.
That's the best. It's a snow cone.
Yep. So go ahead and go to RedSoxDigest.com. We'll write articles each and every day on the games and their outcomes. There'll be an article there tomorrow. Also, too, we don't have it tonight, but normally on our episodes, we will have the star of the game. And that star of the game, if you look on our website, I'll tell you how. But if there's a tweet out with that star of the game graphic, go ahead and in the comments write who you think your star of the game is for that game. And you go ahead and get a point. End of the season, you get a gift card for $100 from MLB gift shop. So
and we'll announce more breaking news into the thing before we hold. Sam Kennedy was outside the hotel. He had a couple things he had to say. Clearly he's lying personally, but this was his quote outside of the hotel. Incredible, difficult day. We'll discuss more tomorrow. Grateful to Alex for everything he has done for the organization, all the guys. We're going to move forward tomorrow. Cora handled it like the professional that he is. Alex Cora just texted, "I'm happy." Rob Bradford.
Yeah, so they're gonna attack him tomorrow in this press conference.
Yeah. You know,
There's also a report. There's also a report from John Lee, who had the whole thing about the money thing that was going on with the organization and news story. That's pretty interesting to read. I'm going to be reading that after I'm done with tonight, but that just came out too. So we've got some interesting days ahead, folks. This is not over.
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, he's going to hand up professionally. What's he going to say? He's got $14 million coming from the Red Sox no matter what. I mean, even if he gets another job, he'll get another job 3 years, $30 million. He'll have $24 million for the year. So he's not hurting. It's no skin off his back. Trust me on that. That'll wrap it up for tonight. Have a good night, everybody. And I think we'll see you tomorrow night, but we'll let you know during the day. Have a good night.